have bees for the honey, the wax, the propolis, and the pollination. So then my next question on my handout is, well, when do I start? The best time to start beekeeping, and this takes a lot of planning. The best time to start is right now in the spring. But you can't just run out today and say, hey, I'm going to start beekeeping and I'm going to have a hive in place by Sunday. It takes a whole lot of planning to get everything lined up so that you can get started in the springtime. Because you're going to have to, more than likely, you're going to start your first bee hive with packaged bees. Well, you have to plan ahead and order your packaged bees for the spring, like in the November or December of the previous year. And there's a lot of bee vendors, Walter T. Kelly, Dadan. There's a lot, the bee industry is major. And there's lots of people willing to sell bees. And then there's smaller independent beekeepers that sell bees. But you have to, get organized and find out who is selling them, who's going to have them, and who will commit to have a package of bees with a laying queen. Because you don't just want bees, you've got to have a laying queen to go with those bees in order to have a successful bee hive.
Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, walk me through this. So you order the bees in November or December,
Yes.
and you're talking about the queen, etc. Well, then during those winter months, they wouldn't have prepared food for themselves, correct?
Here's the thing. The bees you order in November or December are not going to be hatched and living at that time. They're probably going to be produced in some southern states in like February and March in order for them to be ready for sale.
So they're like on back order.
Yeah.
When you order them in November, December, then you get them in March or
Right.
April. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But if you're in, but you've got to do that, you've got to get your bees ordered. And you've also, during that winter, before the spring you get them, you've got to start accumulating all of your hive equipment and everything you're going to need to start beekeeping. And you're going to have to identify your apiary where you're going to locate your beehive. So the best thing, if you're interested in starting beekeeping, like the summer before or fall before, join your local bee club. And of course, our local bee club is the Rutherford County Beekeepers Association. And we've got our card back there. And y'all please take one. We meet first Monday of every month over at the extension office. Now this, in the month of June, we're going to have our field day out at our president's house, Keith Elmont. And that would be an excellent time to go visit. We're not going to be meeting here, but on June the 17th, we're going to convene at Keith's house, and people are going to be able, he's going to open up some hives, and he's going to show people what to look for when they open up their hives. So go to our website, and here's a good website, the Tennessee Beekeepers Association, and you can get every bee club in the state, know their address and websites from there. But go there, and you can join other clubs. We belong to the Nashville Area Beekeepers Association also. And you can never have too much bee information, is our opinion. So you should join a local bee club and kind of go and hang out with the beekeepers. And then in the spring, once you decide, yeah, I want to do this, and you've got everything ordered, there will be a local beekeepers course in most counties, and we do one here in Rutherford County. And that will get you prepared, and it occurs like in February or March. And that will get you ready to launch off into beekeeping in the spring. So you have to think, if you're thinking about going into beekeeping, what is it that bees need? Well, they need food, they need shelter, and they need water, just like us. You're gonna have your bees. Like I said, what you usually get is a 2 to 3 pound package of worker bees with a few drones mixed in, and a laying queen. Now, a laying queen means that she has been produced and she's been bred. She's had opportunity to go out, hang out with the drones, mate with the drones, because if she's not done that, she's not going to be able to lay eggs. And if she can't lay eggs, you're not going to have any workers, because workers in the summer and spring, they only live like 6 weeks is their lifespan. So you've got to have these worker bees coming online like every 6 weeks to replenish themselves. And worker bees take 21 days to hatch. So hopefully every 3 weeks you're going to have a big flush of worker bees coming out and ready to do the nursing and the foraging and everything they need to be successful. Now, the equipment. There's a lot of equipment in beekeeping. And for people who are woodworkers, or if you've got a woodworker in the household, this is going to be right up your alley. Because Donnie is our woodworker. And he makes a lot of our hive components. Like he made, this is what you call a screen bottom board. He made this. There's a lot of angles and cutting and measuring and getting the wood together that goes into that. But this is the base of your hive. Now before I start, you have to have a hive, what we call a hive stand. You don't set the beehive just flush on the ground, because that will let dampness go up into the beehive. You don't want that. Plus, you'll have predators, skunks and possums that come up, want to mess with the bees and try to eat the bees and grab the honey. So what we use are 8-inch concrete blocks. And this is an inexpensive hive stand, readily available. Now, I have seen somebody had made a nice rebar, welded rebar hive stand for sale at our last bee meeting, but the cost of that was $37.50. Now, 2 concrete blocks cost about what, $4? Or they
That'd be less than $4. It'd be about $1.50 to $1.75 piece.
Yeah, so 2 concrete blocks are way less than $37.50. As much as I might like that nice rebar, I'm gonna go with the concrete blocks.
I'm the one jump the gun on you if you're gonna talk about it. But I've never seen screen bottoms. What is the value of that?
Okay, screen bottoms were an innovation probably in the 90s, I would guess. We started in 2009, and until the screen bottoms,
Late 80s, 90s,
yeah,
it come about because of
the roll
the roller mites, little parasites that get on your bees. And the bees tend to pick them off, and with a solid board, it looks like a tick or a chicken. You can put it over here and push it over here to the side, but sooner or later it's going to come towards your heat in your body. It's going to get on you. But when that little mite falls through the screen, it goes to the ground and dies.
yeah.
Excellent, thanks.
But this, before the advent of these, you had a solid bottom, and the debris just falls down to the bottom, accumulates, or the bees have to haul it out. And like Donnie said, when they really got up to this, we have this little terrible pest called the varroa mite, which is the worst thing that has happened to American beekeeping. But with the bottom board, the varroa mites, if the bees knocked them off, they just went to the floor and crawled right back up, back on the bees. But with these This is a 1/8 inch screen hardware cloth,
It's what?
1/8 inch hardware
1/8
cloth.
mesh.
1/8 inch mesh hardware cloth. The Varroa mite will fall through here and onto the ground and out of the hive. So this is part of what they call integrated pest management, where you use mechanical means to combat pests. And we've always used the screen bottom board, and we've been very pleased with the success. Now, one thing we do, see this little slit through there? Donnie makes that, and when we want to close it up, and we use a cookie sheet, we'll slide a cookie sheet under there, and that closes the bottom up. And if we've got a real bad infestation of like small hive beetle, another pest that afflicts the honeybees, we put diatomaceous earth in it, scattered it, and the small hive beetle larva will fall through. They're these little soft white worms. They'll fall through here into the diatomaceous earth, and that cuts their little bodies up and kills them. So that's we always have that option if we want to go that way. So you've got your concrete blocks. You've got this setting on it. Then your next part that you've got to have is a honey super. Each of these boxes is called a super. This is a medium size super, as opposed to this, which is what we call a deep super. And then we've got an even smaller one called a shallow. But let me say this. If I knew back in 2009 what I know now, we would have just started out using 8-frame medium honey supers, because when we started in 2009, what was the common thing was a 10-frame, which is about that much wider. And if you are a lady beekeeper, or if you're an older beekeeper, these 10 frames of honey get real heavy. Or a 10-frame deep full of honey and pollen and bees, it gets real heavy.
They get up to 80 to 90 pounds.
Yeah.
With bees, wax, and honey. Honey makes it heavy. Honey is heavier than water.
Yeah. That pint is 22 ounces, 1 pound, 6 ounces. Just a quart of honey weighs 3 pounds. And a 5-gallon bucket of honey weighs 60 pounds. So, it gets heavy. And now if you're young and spry, you may want to just do deep supers and just, go to town for the volume. But if you foresee a time when you think, I may not really want to be lifting 60, 70 pounds at a time, then this is the way to go, the 8-frame. And they have 8-frame shallows and 8-frame deeps too. So, but that's my one word of advice to you, if you're thinking about it. Now, you gotta have this is bees home, and this is a frame of fresh foundation, fresh wax foundation. And we ordered this from, I think Kelly's is where we got that. You can also get plastic foundation now, which, we got some plastic foundation last year, and I'm here to tell you, I was right pleased with it. It was easier to put in, it's not as delicate, and the bees seem to be fine with it. So, but a lot of people don't like it. But we use this up. This is the last of our medium foundation.
Now, when you talk about medium foundation, and you bought that, did you buy the wood pieces or just that middle stuff?
Just the middle
Okay,
stuff
okay.
as a sheet of foundation. Now, you've gotta have the frames.
Right.
Now, we buy these supers, they come to us unassembled. We buy the frames unassembled because, you know, the big guys, they just mill off thousands of these things every day. And there's a top bar, 2 side bars, a bottom bar, and there's a little cleat up here. So that's several different little pieces that, you have to be cutting and
And do
slicing.
you use that in all of your supers?
Yes, you have to have foundation. Now, like I said, we like the plastic too. We're not averse to the plastic, but some beekeepers don't like it.
Update me here, because my daddy had bees 50 years ago, so I'm way behind, all right?
That was the golden age of beekeeping back
yeah.
then.
And he had 50 hives, and we were in southwest Oklahoma, and we didn't have clubs or any of that stuff, so we kind of by the seat of his pants, so just bear with me here. But the bees themselves, we had the deep
Yeah, the deep.
one just on the bottom, but he never stopped, that was for them.
Yeah.
He didn't
That's
feel
called
the
the brood
super.
chamber.
Yeah,
Okay, and then the supers were the ones
on
on
top.
top.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're putting this right on the bottom, where's your brood chamber?
This is my brood chamber.
Okay,
there.
okay,
You don't have to put it in a deep.
okay,
You can use,
but you're not gonna steal the honey out of that one?
No,
That's what I
no.
mean.
But she's not very tall,
Right, right,
but she can lift these supers off by herself. And that 10 frame that got up to be 90, I couldn't lift it off from
got it.
way down there. I'm not as young as I used to be either. And
Oh, I am.
and you out in the on-level yard with bees and trees and everything else, all it takes is one good stumper. You turn that thing over,
What a mess.
and it's not only a mess on the ground, don't worry about that, but your body is gonna be eat up. Now, we was moving one of these one night, and I undid the strap, which I had on earlier, and it fell apart. Before I could do anything, I had 21 stings, and I quit counting. My eyes were nearly closed the next morning. But it was my stupidity, my error, for not being more careful. But if you hit something on the ground, and you need good, your flip-flops won't work. You need a good solid sole, because if you're out there working on unlevel ground, like a garden, you better have good footing under you, because this is not dangerous. Now, I don't want you to go away thinking it's dangerous, but you gotta be careful and conscious of what's going on. Now, she dealt these bees right here. That's her baby. That was one of her babies last year. Oh, how many she had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 supers on there. She got honey off of 7 of them. And the bottom 2 were the brood chambers, where the babies and ones that haven't hatched out. And now I had to get up here and get these off, because she couldn't. She's just too short. That's her standing side of it. And I had to get on the step of the rebar to get up there and get them out. But now, when they got down to this, in this area, she could get them off. But you're playing with a lot of stuff above your head, and you don't want to.
Yeah, with the weight.
And she's lucky. These little hives right here were her babies that she just started from scratch, you might say. I don't think scratch is the word you use in beekeeping, but she started them one year, and this was the second year in that hive, and the second year in the hive behind it. And they really produce honey. We had an abundance crop of clover last
But you can use the medium. I wouldn't you don't use the shallow, but sometimes the bees do what they want to do, and they'll go to a shallow, and they really don't want them to. But use the medium or the D for the brood chamber. And so you've got to get your wax frames if you're starting from scratch. This whole tape. So you're going to have make 8 frames, and you're going to have your wax foundation that you put in here. We use pins. We don't. The foundation has wire vertically in it, embedded in it. We use pins to hold it in sides to reinforce it. And we've had good luck. We put it in the extractor, and it spins it one way and then spins it the other. We rarely lose wax. It rarely breaks up.
Can I just want to ask one more question? Now, Daddy didn't use the starter wax in the brood chambers, and what he said to me was, and you can correct me because I said this years ago, was he didn't care if they had it all balled up because it was their house.
Yeah.
And then but he used it in the supers.
Would he use like a strip to get them started?
No. Now, he would in supers, but like you said, he just kind of left them when they've been out without a super, put them in there, and they can kind of build their own nest.
Well, we don't really like to encourage that in our bees. We want them to pull it out uniformly.
Sure.
It's just easier to deal with. And, we like small, nice uniform cells for lay worker brooding. You're going to need some drones, but you don't want to encourage lots of great big drone patches because drones take, I think it's 24 days to hatch, and they're the varroa traps. The more drones you have, the more varroa mites, because the varroa mites go down into the cells with the larva and latch on. And the longer they have to pupate, the more varroa you have. So you don't, we need the drones because we've got to have them to mate with the queens. But if you have a hive that's just got a multitude of drones, you've got a weak hive because they're loaded with varroa mite. And, that's just not something. And varroa mite is the biggest killer of bees we have right now. So you've got to assemble your frames, you've got to assemble your box, your super, you've got to prime and paint your super. Now, you don't paint the inside of it. The bees will propolize the inside. They don't want any help on the inside. But we prime it and we paint it with exterior latex paint. We're not confined to just white, or I'm not. Donnie probably would prefer it, but I'm not. I use whatever is in the oops cans. And I like the pastel colors. You don't want a dark. You don't want red because bees can't see red. Bees can see, and they use landmarks to get back to their hive. So if they've got, their hive memorized as being nice pastels, that helps them. We've used stains, but they don't seem to wear as well as a good latex exterior paint. We have used some stains, but after 2 or 3 years, they're fading a lot, and we've just not been all that pleased with it. Okay, now this would be like your brood chamber. And to get something else you need to know. In your first year of beekeeping, you're not going to take any honey. If you do, you're probably going to lose your bees because they have to have 50 to 60 pounds of honey to make it through the winter in this area. So you're not going to get much honey. If any, we didn't take any honey the first year we had bees. We're going to leave it all for the bees. But once they draw the wax out, then you're going to add another box of frames with wax. And you're going to feed them. When you start beekeeping, you're going to have to feed a lot of sugar syrup, made with cane sugar. I bought this in August. I wait till they have a special line. they'll sell this for like $1.39 on occasion. Or when Kroger's has a 2-for-1, or Publix will do a buy one, get one, I will go and buy my sugar. Now, you can buy a 55-gallon drum of sugar. And we did that one time. But the drawback on that, when we got halfway down it, there was powdered sugar in there. So I wasn't too pleased with that. Now, you can still use the powdered sugar to make things in the winter for them. But I think, you're apt to see a lot of powdered sugar in a 55-gallon drum. And then the thing is, you've got to measure out your sugar from that darn 55-gallon drum barrel. And that's a hassle. So we did that. We had this big 55-gallon drum, and here we're shoveling sugar into Ziplocs and weighing it, and 5 pounds. And it was a lot of trouble, let me tell you. So after that, I thought, well, just give me a nice, clean sugar, and I will catch it on sale whenever I can. And that's what I do. And my sugar syrup mixing technique, you wouldn't think mixing sugar syrup is all that big a deal, but when you start needing like 5 or 6 gallons, it does get tiresome. So here is my deal. This is a 3-gallon bucket. You want sugar syrup in the spring and summer. You do it 1-to-1. 1 part sugar, 1 part water. So I take 2 of these 4-pound bags of sugar. I get my water good and hot out of the faucet, and I run it in here, and I dump my sugar in, and I bring it all up to the 2-pound mark, and I mix it with my stick blender. Now this takes a lot of work out of it. I have done it with a big aluminum spoon, but boy, this doesn't take anything. And it doesn't take long to mix it up. And then I will pour this, my sugar syrup. If I'm ready to run out and stick them up, I'll put it in a quart jar. This is what we feed a quart jar. And these tops, I buy these from Kelly's with tiny little holes in them. You could get your own lids and drill them, but again, that's going to take time. These have probably, 15, 20 holes in it. You still got to sit there and go, on each individual lid. So I buy those. But I'm going to fill that up, fill my can up. And all you ladies that like the can, you know what that is, a nice can. I pour it into that, put my cap on, and I'm out the door. Now, if I've already got my jars on out there, I'll pour my syrup using this into a gallon jug that I've got vinegar. I use a lot of apple cider vinegar at my house. And I'll stick this in my 2-liter bottle or my gallon jug, pour it up, and then when I get out to the bee yard, if I can get it unstuck, usually I can, or if I can't, Donnie can, you just pour it directly from your little narrow neck bottle, 2-liter bottle or your gallon jug, into the jar out in the bee yard. Now, another thing we use some is a supplement called Honey Bee Healthy, and it's got lemongrass oil and various and sundry vitamins for bees. And I like to use that. You have to be sparing with it because it'll just, get the bees bursting out, and they'll swarm, if you do too much too early.
Say, excuse me, I'm a little confused with my imagery. Okay, so you've got this sugar mixture, and you're taking it outside, and you're doing what with it?
Well, I'm going to feed it to the bees, and here is how. Okay. I may have a couple of these in here, or one. We're going to start out with one. Let's say we're just brand new. Okay. This is the inner cover. need this little hole in it to give some ventilation. We've got this hole in it for ventilation, and Donnie put screens on these to help keep robbers out. We want ventilation, but we don't want robber bees, because bees are curious little creatures, and if they can find some honey or syrup that they don't have to work as hard as foraging to get, they'll come get it. So this cuts down on our robbing. Now, here's our little feeder stand. This is what we do. Donnie makes these. He made this inner cover. So just pretend for a minute. We've got this full of sugar syrup. This forms a vacuum. It doesn't just pour out through those holes. So that's a quart of sugar syrup. The bees come up through there. We put that on there for protection. And then here is our outer cover. So this is a beginning hive right there. Donnie made this outer cover too. So he made the outer cover, this, the screen bottom board, and the inner cover. And then we'll have a couple of bricks and we'll put on top, because you don't want the wind blowing off your outer cover. Now that's how we like to feed. Now there is also something called the Boardman feeder. And this fits like that. We don't use this one much because it can encourage robbing.
And they will rob.
Yeah. That's how that works. Now, people like this, because they can see how much syrup they're taking without having to take off the outer cover.
And what is that feeder called again on the front?
This is called a Boardman feeder.
Okay.
But it's a very common feeder that you use. But for our money, we like this one inside a hive box. So, you've got your stuff. You've got this. Now, at a minimum, you must have I like the straw hats because they're cool. If they come in plastic, they also have hooded jackets that you zip up and it's got a hood on it with a veil. And you pull it over and the whole thing zips up. And those are good, but they are hot. And in Tennessee, when we get rolling in July, when we take the honey off, it's going to be July. And it's probably going to be like 95 degrees. You want a warm, sunny day. Well, we have plenty of warm, sunny days. Only ours tend to be hot, sunny days. So it may be 90, 95 degrees when we rob the bees. So I like this, a long sleeve shirt, a pair of pants with the ankles taped down, or socks pulled up over the outside of your pants, because the bees will crawl up your legs, sting. And this is another bit of advice. If you are allergic to bees, this is not the hobby for you. Do not engage in beekeeping, because you will get stung. I mean, people will say, oh, I go out there in my shorts and t-shirts. Never get stung. This is a truth. Let me put it this way. We get stung. It's not pleasant. It feels like a red hot sewing needle sticking in you for 2 or 3 minutes. But, it's nothing you can't stand, but, it does happen. So, but you've got to have this to protect sleeve shirt, everything tucked in, no exposed skin. You need a hive tool because there's a lot of prying apart. And this is what they call the Kent Williams hive tool. He is a Kentucky beekeeper of great renown in the beekeeping field. And the thing about this one is this hook helps you lift up the frame. Not all of the tools have this hook on it. And I like it because it helps you lift the frame out. And the frames, you know, they're all stuck together with propolis and all that stuff. But this will get that in there and it gives you something to pry it up with.
Well, our pry bar.
Yeah. This is your bee brush. Now, you know, that's not just used all the time, but when you need one, you need one. You need you some gloves. Now, some people use the latex gloves. I like the goatskin gloves. Okay. Something else you're going to need is a hive reducer. And when you start your bees, you don't want the mature hives to decide we're going to rob them out of their syrup or honey or whatever they've got. So you put on a hive reducer, an entrance reducer. And this reduces down to two entrance holes, because the bees have guard bees, and they're policing the front of the hive. But if there's too many robbers and not enough guard bees, the robbers are going to win.
And what's that called?
An entrance reducer.
It's actually called a mouse guard.
Or mouse guard, yeah. What?
Mouse guard.
Mouse guard or
When
entrance
your
reducer.
little mice love a warm place just like you do in the wintertime. If they have a big opening, they'll just go wiggle themselves right up into it and make their nest. And babies will tolerate it, but some they got also at a due time, some of the bees gang up on it and kill it. You got mummy bee hive.
They coat it with
Mice
propolis.
in there, rodents.
They'll coat it with propolis. It's this mummified mouse that's been found.
Also, this mouse guard keeps your skunks from brushing. Skunk will use their tail to brush across the front of the hive. Because your bees in the summertime, they might get hot and will come out and lay on this front porch area. And little stinky skunk will come up there and they know what's going on. He'll wiggle his tail right across there and pick up a bunch of bees. Then he'll pull that tail in there and he gets bees up. That's one reason you put them on 8-inch blocks too. It's not only for us to make it easier to get them out, but that makes it hard for the skunk. You have to get them out, so you'll actually, some of your hives, if you live out in the country far enough and have enough little farmers running around, you'll see little scars up there from the toes.
All right. Oh, we talked about oil traps. Another pest we have to fight all the time is the small hive beetle. And this is a tiny little black beetle that flies, and they like to get into hives where the honey is and the pollen, and lay their eggs, and then the larva comes out. You know, and if you don't have enough bees to police it, they'll just slime the hive. And the bees will, you know, they may get so mad that they'll just abscond and leave. Because they don't want to stay somewhere that is just slimy and stinky. So you don't want to let them get to that point. So to help the bees fight this is something called, you know, a beetle trap. It's a little plastic trap. And I mix up solution. The lure to the beetles is apple cider vinegar. That's one reason I use so much apple cider vinegar in my house. But it's 1 part apple cider vinegar, 2 parts oil, cheapest vegetable oil you can find, a few drops of banana extract, that's part of the lure, and then a few drops of dishwashing liquid, just to add a little extra irritant to the beetles. So I mix that up, and I like to use a dishwashing liquid bottle or a squeezed ketchup bottle to fill up my traps, because this is messy. You know, you got all this oil solution, but you get it in that, and then this sets one over in this corner and one over in this corner diagonally across from each other. And the bees will chase the beetles, you can't see it, but into this little slit. They'll chase, the bees will chase the beetles into that. And then you'll go in and you'll see dead beetles floating around. That just gladdens the heart of any beekeeper when you see a bunch of dead beetles floating in your beetle trap. Yes, ma'am.
How much oil did you say to put in that mixture?
I use 2 parts oil to 1 part vinegar, a few drops banana extract, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon banana extract, and then a few drops dishwashing liquid soap. That's what I use, and that is deadly to the beetle. And you don't want to spill it in the hive because it's deadly to your beetles, your bees also, but you want it in this trap. Now the bees sometimes will propolize the little slits. Or you just take your hive tool and just dig that out and refill it if it needs it. Now, let's talk about where you're going to locate the hive. It's best to do it in full sun because it's thought that the small hive beetle needs soft, moist soil for its
I'm
larvae.
sorry, if you have to make you go back. What kind of oil?
Oh, just
Not the
canola
banana
oil,
oil. Okay.
canola oil, vegetable oil. Some
Good cheap
people,
oil that you buy at the cheap stores.
yeah, nothing expensive.
Okay.
Some people have gone out and scrounged used oil up, but, I wouldn't recommend that. I like, the clean oil. Plus, if you got used oil in there, that's probably going to attract raccoons, stuff like that. It's thought that the small hive beetle does not like hot, sunny location. So, a full sun location is best. Now, if you don't have full sun, at least go for morning sun and afternoon shade. But do not put the hive into all-day full shade. And you want it near a natural wind protection, such as hills or buildings, fences, or evergreen. You want a windbreak. You want it to have dry ground and good air circulation. You don't want a windy, exposed hilltop or a site near a river or creek bank that may flood. You do not want to be running in front of a rising river with your beehives. We don't want that. You want these way out of the floodplain. You do want water. You got to have that nearby. If you don't have a natural creek or pond, then use a bird bath, chicken water, small watering trough. Make sure there are floats in it, someplace for the bees to get in it, or they're at the ground. And if you don't provide them water when they need it, they will head to your neighbor's saltwater swimming pool in a heartbeat. So don't want that. You want to locate your entrance facing east or south. You want the sun and the warmth to hit them that gets them up, gets them going early. That's what we want. Food, throughout the foraging season, you like to have it within a mile, roughly a mile, because pollen is required for brood rearing, and nectar is the bees' classic source of energy. And to get a honey crop, you've got to have large concentrations of floral sources and populous colonies of bees. And if all possible, locate your colony away from fields that are routinely treated with pesticides. Like if you're near a big cornfield that gets sprayed numerous times, or cotton or soybeans, your bees aren't going to thrive close to a place like that. And, you know, farmers have to do what they have to do to make their crop, but just know that if you're near a spot that there's a lot of spraying going on, you know, that's not good for the bees. And if you ever hear of a Zika spraying fixing to happen, then you need to know about it, and you need to close your bees up when it's going on. You can close, the bees come back to their hive every night, and they spend the night in the hive. And after, right about dusk, you can go out and you can close this off, your entrance off, with duct tape or whatever, and keep them in there until the spraying has happened. And hopefully, you know, after it's been out there a day or so, you know, your bees won't, at least your bees aren't going to be sprayed directly with the Zika stuff. And maybe it will have evaporated by the time they put out the forage. Now, Donnie is going to talk to you about swarm catching.
Oh, something else too. If you want to get in this hobby, it can really be expensive. But I like Kelly in Kentucky to sell product. We have some, Robert Burns out here with Les Cassie's, he makes the hives and everything, he'll sell to you. Already made, painted. I don't know what he gets for him, but he does a fine job. He's been in business for a good while. Don't let the bee stores sell you stuff that you don't really need. You need a hive too. You need a good pair of gloves, and you need a good veil. I got the jacket and all this stuff on the front end when I started beekeeping. I don't hardly ever wear that jacket. It burns me up. I get hot in just a shirt, a pair of gloves, and a veil. And that protects me. But I gotta have a good pair of gloves, a good veil, and a tube. You need a smoker to go in your hive. You don't smoke them to death, you just don't go. You get a good puff coming out there, then you take it and put about 2 puffs in the bottom here. And when you open it up, way up here, you put about 2 puffs, that's going to be it. But you'll learn those things. This is fun. It's not, it's expensive, but it's more expensive if you make it expensive. And it's fun to see that your work that you started out with was one queen. And all these workers, which are females, other than the drone has it, you think, until wintertime comes. And the bees know they need their food, and they don't need that drone in the wintertime. So they kick his butt out, and he dies. And she's going to have to raise some more in spring, which we're going to hide right now. There's all kinds of drone sales where they can reproduce to have more this summer. Okay, but I am going to talk about swarm catching. Who's ever seen a swarm? Oh yeah, good. Now that's when most people are scared. They see a swarm, and they've seen so much on TV about the African bee that they just get scared. We do not have African bees here in Tennessee. We've had 2 occasions to have the African blood down in West Tennessee somewhere, and up in Bradley County and East Tennessee. And they found out, and they wiped those hives out. You got African bees coming out of all the coastal area in the south of us, in Arizona, Mexico, New Mexico is a large group, and over in California you got African bees. If it keeps getting warmer here in Tennessee, we're gonna have African bees. But these winters that we have until this last winter would have killed most of the African bees in our area, because they're not used to it, and they don't store honey like our Italians or Russian bees. Our bees that we have are Italian mostly, and they will store honey. The African bees just store very little honey. Okay, I love to get swarms if I can get to them. We had one swarm this, here about 3 weeks ago from our hive, and we saw it, we went out and watched it come out. There's not anything you can do to stop it. If it's coming out, we got the sky right around that hive just dark with bees everywhere. And so, I just walked through it, she did too, because we was following it, watching where it went. It went to a tree about 50 foot high. There's no way I'm climbing a tree 50 foot. I'm too old to be up there to start with. But she had bring a picture of me one of me being up a tree about 20 foot high. But I don't necessarily climb. If I stay on that ladder. And we have come up with little things. Most of our bees, we love for them to get in a bush or a small sapling about 5 foot high where we can go out there and get without getting off the ground. And in our beekeeping, we have caught swarms on the ground.
I do have that picture over there.
We do?
Where? Right here.
Okay. Now, I'm down there in the middle of them, neck and hand, if you want to look at this later. Try to find queen. Let's find queen. What I do, I took one of this, it was drawn comb, old comb. I had about 5 of them, best I remember. I walked over to it and put it right down on top of that snake. I let it stay there about 2 or 3 minutes. I picked it up, turned it over, and put that side down. Then I got through this one, I walked back to a little hive we had, put it in there. Then I did another one and put it down there and put it down there. And she had a sheet under this, and when I got through putting the 5 frames in there, I put the top on it. And she had a plastic sheet, I think, or cotton sheet, I'm not sure. And then from the swarm, we had this fairly within 5 foot of the swarm. The bees started walking around with me. It was 9 o'clock at night before we finished. We took it home and set it up, and this was one of the strongest hives we've had. And we still have that hive. Of course, it's requeened itself, and queens die. But I may have got stung at night, I'm not sure. But that was the easiest one we ever caught was off the ground. If we find one 5, 6 foot off the ground, if I can take a nipper, pop it, and give it to her, she shake it right into the box. We still got that white sheet under it to make sure they can go in. And you can see the queen a lot of times. If it's daylight, you can see the queen. If she's out there, she'll walk. A lot of times she'll walk in with you. So we've caught how many this year so far? 3. That saves you a little bit of money. If you had to buy a note with 5 frames of bees, it costs you anywhere from $150 to $200. And that's with a laying queen. If you buy just a shit bringer boxes, we ordered our first bunch of bees out of it. They come with 3 to 4 pounds of bees and a laying queen, not loose, but she's just in there. And you have to put her in with the other bees when you get them home. So that's usually they're running right now $150. So everything, but if they get higher than 5, 6 foot, and I gotta get on the ladder, I've got a pump gun that sprays, it's made to spray your garden with, to kill insects, etc. And it's about the same size as this right here. I fill it, or she fills it up for me, full of sugar water, just like we feed it. And if I can get within 5 foot of that hive in a tree, I'll spray that big old swarm. And the last swarm I sprayed with it, got it looked about like that one right there. I got it wet where they can't fly. They can fall, but they can't. And then I got up there against the limb sticking out. And some of the bees were right here under it. That pop. And you gotta realize I'm about 20 foot up in the air. And I lay it down, I'm holding this, and best I can, and she grabs that and walks over to the hive we got sitting there and turn it over and pop it. Why don't they sting us? They're looking for a home. Their belly's full. They just left their old home. They ate a big meal, been eating for about 2 days before they left. And they have been running that queen, the old queen around, making her lose weight where she can fly. She's not able to fly until she loses weight. And when they get her to a point, she's lost this weight, they said, we're going to leave and go find us a new home because this is what bees do. This is how they repopulate the earth. They'll leave they're part of the, part of the, not swarm, but part of the bees there. And they'll have queen cells in the making ready to hatch within 2 to 3 days. And so they say, we're going to get out of here, leave this to you. And they get out and they go to a bush or a tree. And then they sit up there. Sometimes they'll sit up there 15 minutes, sometimes it's 2 or 3 days. And they have scouts that have gone out and looked for a place to live. And those scouts come back and they tell in the bee language where to go. And when they take off, it's just like a big old ball, 5 or 6. You can see the bees just rolling. They're going, and when they take off, they'll go about 5 foot and they'll level out and there they go. And she saw one day, left our yard, went southeast about 500 yards from the house and went into a tree. So we get bees, we don't get bees from there. They come down ours and try to steal some of our honey. But and then they will make strong bees. So you're going to lose bees. It's fun. But they're the calmest, even though they look like they're going to tear everything up. A swarm is much safer to deal with than me going in here and trying to steal the honey. In fact, if it's a swarm, I don't even have to have anything. We out ourselves. If we see a swarm, catch a swarm, we'll get a cardboard box. And we always carry some, in the truck, if we're in my truck, there's always cardboard in there and masking tape or duct tape. I'll take my knife out of my pocket and poke holes in it for air, and we'll shake a bush or shake a limb and get most of the bees in that box and bring it home and put it up. And we have not failed to bring a queen home with it. So when you do that and you set up a hive and running within a year, that hive and all the woodworking and everything goes with it, you got probably $300 if you went and bought it on the open market. So, but you can watch yourself and it don't have to get that expensive. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do squirrels ever try and get in your hives?
Ma'am?
Do squirrels ever
Well,
try and pester you?
Squirrels don't bother us that much. I guess the noise. Because when something goes around, the bees get mad.
Yeah.
Especially if you're sticking something in their hive or trying to play with it. But I don't understand why that sometimes they tolerate a mouse. I do not understand that. But, because they don't want to tolerate us when we go in there and start pulling frames out looking. And we're not even bothered, we put it right back, but they get teed off us. And the robbers, not robbers, but the car thieves, I don't know, and ladies, I'm not going to, I hope you don't take me wrong on this. One of our neighbors asked for some bees to be brought down to his house. We got 3 hives down at his house, because he wanted them. He's a farmer from Waverly, Tennessee. They moved up here and retired. He's also on the river just where we are. And so we got 3 hives down there. Now, how old is he? 86, somewhere there. Now, you gotta realize he's lived in an area where he's farmed cattle and raised crops, etc. He's used to seeing and being out. He'll go out there and sit with those bees and just watch them. His wife, I worked with her years ago. And she come out one day, those bees got after her. And later that day, she said, "You're sitting out there, the bees are not bothering you." He said, "Yes, ma'am."
It's a perfume.
She said, "Why do they bother me? You got all this sticky stuff on, honey." You call it perfume, I do too. But now this is a man and a wife talking. Sometimes they talk in normal language between each other, and they don't use that.
You smell better, huh?
But I'm clean, don't get me wrong, but I do not put any kind of smelly stuff on me when I go out to work the bees. Because they'll come at you. And of course, they got a good nose on them. They know what to smell and not smell. These flowers and things, so. But I'll be willing to answer all your questions, try to, but just remember, don't go around smacking those bees, because they will get angry. And that's their only defense. And when you get a sting, have you ever noticed that stinger in your skin? Get it out of there as fast as you can. Get your credit card out of your wallet or something to scrape it. Scrape that stinger out of there. And the hurt will stop. It's a lot simpler. If you leave it in there, that stinger's still pumping venom in your system. And if you're allergic to these bees, don't be allergic. And do not let your grandkids and your children go around. Because bees can sting you in the eye and really hurt. If you sting you in the arm, it's going to sting and hurt. But they could do some damage if they sting. Maybe one of my buddies mad at me because I wouldn't let his grandkids go around the bees. But I don't want to go out there without my glasses on something. You know, when I go around bees, we work on them, I got my veil on. Even if we're looking in there without gloves on, I got my veil on. Because to me, they are not domesticated like a pup or a kitty cat or anything like that. They are still wild bees. Just like the ones in the trees that you see, look like the ones on your flowers, pick up nectar and pick up pollen.
Are there differentiated breeds, like friendly bees versus not friendly bees?
You asked me for an opinion.
Yeah.
I think a honeybee is, when you let it alone, it's friendly.
It's what?
It's friendly. But I think there is some breeding in them that's means.
Supposedly the Italians are the friendliest bees.
And how do you, when you're ordering bees, how do you order Italian bees?
Oh, they'll specify.
Oh, okay.
Specify.
Our bees are babies.
Butts, they are butts.
That queen,
Butts.
when she mates she may mate with 20 to 30 drone.
We hope so, we hope so.
More she mates with, we get different bloodlines. And that's where your bees are stronger. But to say that my bees, they may have started off at, we had some Italian, we had some Russian. But right now, we got bees. They evolve in our bee yard. The drones go to this magic place, wherever it is, and they wait for a good-looking woman to come by, and that's it.
Well, they call it a drone congregation area. But this is the real term for it.
Sometimes I'll be outside and there might be a stray bee somewhere and I'll be following me a long distance and I'm trying to get it to go away.
That may be a guard bee.
Be a what?
A guard bee.
A guard bee.
These, they have their little, now, she didn't tell you, these bees have their undertaker bees. They have their nurse bees. And, during their lifetime, most of them will become each and every, when they're first born, they become nurse bees, right?
Yeah.
And after a due time, the next group is born, the nurse bees become porters or undertakers. They take the dead bees out or take the debris out, undertakers. They take care of the house. And they take care of each other. They feed each other and groom each other.
They're very clean. They take debris out in the winter. On a warm day, we'll have a lot of days in the 50s here. The bees will go out and do a cleansing flight and then go back in the hive. So they're
If they've been in there for about a week, on a warm day, you can better believe they're coming out. Yes, sir.
Is there any kind of a bee that we claim as American bees?
No, well, the native pollinator bees, the bumblebees, the mason bees, but the honeybee is not native to this
We didn't
continent.
have any over here until they were brought over then.
That's
Okay.
right. The pilgrims.
Sometimes we're our own worst enemy. The small, the mite, the hive beetle, we didn't have those. That's when the person that you was talking about, beekeeping was just great. Just put them out there, let them go. You didn't have any diseases or anything, and you produced a lot of honey. Now you gotta fight Mother Nature in every way, but we imported these mites. We imported this small hive beetle because we didn't check the bees good enough.
Yeah.
So, and that's how this African bee got over here. It got loose in South America. But some right person wanted to experiment with it. They got loose, and it was an experiment. The hive beetle and the mite, it destroyed more bees than anything other than insecticides. Our insecticides, don't tell them how much you each have insecticides that you have digested. It is bad, it's bad. And,
I think in Oklahoma we had moths.
oh, we got moths.
That would mess up a hive real bad. So
If your queen died, you don't know if the moth will be in there within a week, laying eggs.
Wax moths are opportunists. If a hive gets weak, then they'll go in and they'll.
But I do want to share one thing. You know, you were talking about slinging the honey out of the comb. My daddy turned, this was like I said 50 years ago, he turned a milk strainer from a dairy into a,
An extractor, a
yeah.
centrifuge.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can make,
Yeah, Jerry rigged a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
But they know, I don't care where there's doctors in school or in UT's got a doctor head of their department, and all these universities do it more. But all beekeepers don't agree on a whole lot of stuff. It's just completely test and they try it out and see if it works.
if you ask 10 beekeepers a question, you'll get 10 different answers.
Why do we do it? We're not making any money. We enjoy it. And well, look around you. We enjoy running our mouths with you.
And my wife has accused me of running my mouth on anything and everything. But, I enjoy talking, I enjoy being around people. We can be in the store in a line and I'll start talking to people around me because that's the way my mama was. She run her mouth quite a bit. And, so I know my daddy told her one day that they was in a squabble. I remember it. And so, he called her Decibel. Decibel, you and your mama are the nosest people I know of. And so, like I said, you say things to your mate that you don't normally say out loud in a meeting or anything. So, she and I don't agree on beekeeping. But she's the queen bee at my house. She knows more about beekeeping than I do. I have to give her credit.
He's the engineer, he's the woodworker.
But, we usually on bees, we come to a common denominator, but talking. And paint, just like paint, you could go buy the best paint in the world. We go to the stores where they live, what do you call that?
The oops paint, where people brought it back.
This right here is a oops paint, but,
And I thought this was a lovely color.
Yeah.
well, if you look at her picture over here, you'll see different colors. Why pay $20 to $30 a gallon for paint when you can get some for $5 to $10 easy a gallon? And it works just, a lot of it's good brand paint too. But there's things like that. And most of these things I make come out of the scrap pile. I make the inner covers, I make the bottoms, all that stuff come out of scrap. But I enjoy making our son told me, when you gonna quit that? I got back that thumb cut off here last year. When you gonna quit that? You don't need to be using that machine. I said, son, hell, do you expect me to just sit down and die? Well, you gotta do something. You're not worth salt if you don't do something. Now, I didn't have any kids before I told that in here with y'all, but that's the way I feel about life. You gotta do something. You gotta make yourself worthwhile. Thank you.
Mhm.